Hello and welcome to SpaceSlog. So SpaceSlog is a game I've been working on for the last couple of years, mostly in my spare time. In its most basic form, it is pretty much Rimworld in space. So the idea of this video is to show you where I'm up to roughly and kind of show you where I want to go with this in the future. The current engine I'm using is Godot. If you also use Godot, then feel free to let me know. I like seeing other projects that are made in Godot. And if you don't know what Godot is, then it's similar to Unity, but it's kind of the new kid on the block, I suppose. It's free and open source, and if you do develop games, then I highly recommend checking it out. Okay, so this is the main menu. So I'm just going to go through the game and talk a bit about what we've currently got implemented and what I expect to add in the future. So here you'll see the mods menu. So anyone that knows me from my channel or from the Mount & Blade community will know that I've been working on a total conversion mod for Mount & Blade Warband for the last 8 or 9 years now. So modding is quite important to me, and I want to ensure people can add whatever they want to this game. So whether that's a full conversion mod or whether you just want to add a new object or change stats of a current object, you can do that. You can also add as many mods together as you like, but I'll show more on that at the end of the video. So we'll start a new game. Here we have scenarios. Again, these can be modded too. You can add your own scenarios. So if you add a full conversion mod, you can implement a scenario to go with that, which should hopefully help complete the experience and add to the immersion. Here you can see one of the similarities to Rimworld, for instance. So we have our starting pawns. We can randomize them if we want. We can change the name of these. We have a backstory which is dependent upon the vocation or the job they used to have. We also have stats. So these skills, for instance, will be dependent on the vocation, or at least influenced by the vocation. Traits and medical conditions are not currently implemented. Okay, so this is the backstory that is part of the scenario. So this can be changed with the scenario. We're just going to skip that for now though. This here can also be changed with the scenario. We'll just close that and let's just let them wander around. Okay, so here you can see they're actually suffocating. I just play that, so this updates, so there you go. So now you can see stuff suffocating. Atmosphere is not currently implemented, so obviously this is a pre-alpha build. There's going to be features that are not fully implemented. There's going to be placeholder art and placeholder features and other stuff too. Eventually, obviously, they will need to breathe. We do have rooms, so the room is what holds the pressure and the different types of atmosphere. So obviously at the moment you can see we have 0% O2 pressure. Pawns or characters will breathe out CO2 and breathe in O2. All that can be changed, so if you want to add an alien race, for instance, that breathes a different gas, you can totally do that. We can change the name of rooms if we want. So if you want to change this to bedroom 1, for instance, you can change that. Rooms are auto-magically created when you expand your ship, so I'll show you that in a little bit. Let's just go back to these characters, shall we? So health is not implemented yet, so illnesses and injuries will be implemented at some point in the future. The morale screen, so again, looks similar to Rimworld. I'm still debating if I should change this or not. Let me know in the comments what you think. But currently we have morale, which is the mood of the character. The idea is you're stuck on a small ship in the middle of space. Your characters are not going to be very happy about this, so you need to try and keep them happy as much as possible. There's lots of different things that will change how they feel and how their morale reacts to this. We have thirst, energy, and hunger. So obviously they need to drink and eat and sleep. Depending on the activities they do, this will drain these a lot quicker. So probably traversing outside the ship, if they need to do some building or whatever, then that might have more of an effect on their energy than if they were wandering around the spaceship without a spacesuit on, for example. We have equipment, so you can equip whatever you like to these guys. Different equipment will affect stats differently. Obviously we can remove them and add them. Again, pre-alpha, very basic AI at the moment. They will eventually have to equip these themselves, so they'll have to warp to them and equip them themselves, or remove them themselves. And then we have the backstory, so it just tells you a little bit about the character when they joined your crew. We take a look at the ship systems monitor menu. Here we can change the name of the ship if we want to. We have a red alert, which currently doesn't really do anything, and we also have different roles. So we have a captain and a quartermaster. So if we choose Nick Knight here, we can actually assign him as a captain. Currently it doesn't do anything, but in the future hopefully these will change how different characters react to these guys and affect them around on the ship. So you want to be choosing your best character to be the captain, for instance, or the quartermaster. We can add and remove roles. So these two are actually part of the game, so you can't remove these. But let's say we want to add some Marines. So we can add Marines. We can assign a hotkey. So now if we assign these two to Marines, we can then use our hotkey to select all of those that's assigned to that role. So this is a good way to create groups if you want to. Okay, so factions. We have factions. These are procedurally generated at the moment. There is talk on the Discord about having static factions with their own backstory and lore, although it's still out to question at the moment. I'm not sure what route I'm going to go with these yet. We have building. So we have freeform building for our ship. Again, because the AI, eventually the pawns will have to actually build this themselves. So you'll see now our rooms expanded. If we want to create new rooms, we can just stick them like that, and now we have 2 rooms. So eventually you'll be able to assign these rooms to different characters too. So you can assign them bedrooms, or you can have a brig, or a medical room and stuff like that. We do have external hull armor. So you can add shapes to your ship using the external hull by having angles and stuff. The reason we don't have them internally is due to the way the pathfinding works. We do also have carpets, for instance, so we can add some carpet down here. And we have power. So if we stick that in there, we'll stick a battery down and we'll stick some cable down. We will also need somewhere to place our cargo. So you'll see that this requires some sort of fuel. We need somewhere to place this fuel. So for now, all the resources are stored in these containers. So you can't actually see them. Eventually, these resources will be stored on your actual ship, so you'll have to provide places for them to be stored. So if we try and actually start this, nothing will happen because obviously we have no fuel. Start up, there you go, it says we've got no fuel. So if I go to able to developer mode, so now I can add some uranium. You'll see now it's been added to this. And that started. So again, eventually your characters will have to load this up. Unless we decide to go down the route of conveyor belts and stuff. Let's just turn it off again. So you can see our battery is now filling. And we can actually turn on our thruster. So there you go. It also shows us on our systems monitor how much power we've got stored and how much is available. And we can actually turn everything off from there too. So one more thing I can show you is, so we do actually have hull breaches. So you can see now this room has now been breached, and it says it's slowly losing atmosphere, but because that's not implemented, it's kind of lying, I suppose. But eventually your characters will get sucked out of these, so you can actually space your characters, or maybe they'll space themselves, or who knows, other characters, depending how pissed off they get. And yeah, I think that's about it. We'll have stuff like research. I hope to add planets. So you'll come across random planets that you can send your characters to. So you can send an away team to these planets, possibly meet various different life forms. There'll be character-to-character combat. There'll be ship-to-ship combat. Your characters will have different traits. So they could have, say, they prefer high gravity areas, for instance. So they may prefer planets that are high gravity, or they may prefer planets that are low gravity. So this will try and help dictate what kind of characters you want to send to different places. Also, you'll have different atmospheres depending on the planet, so your different equipment and gear will obviously affect how these characters will perform in these different places. And then various other events like derelict ships or space stations and stuff. I think that's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. If you want to support me in the game, if this is a type of game you think you would enjoy playing, then feel free to join our Discord. You can join our forums. I have a post on our forums where you can sign up if you want to be considered as a tester. So as a tester, you'll get access to the game and you can help test various builds. I'll be releasing these builds every couple of months or so. So now let's go take a look at the JSON files and how we actually can mod the game. Okay, so here we are in the JSON file. So when the game starts up, it will load all of these files, including any mods that you have selected to load. So you'll see here we are in the data core folder. So this is all the core files. So if you want to add anything, you'll actually take one of these items and you can copy it and paste it into your own JSON data file, which you will then add to a module folder. So down here you can see we have modules. I just have a test mod here. You'll have your module info data file where you add all your information, so your name, what version it's for, etc. You have a textures folder, so you can also add, for instance, a sounds folder if you want to add your own sounds. And then you have another folder which includes all of your JSON data. So let's just go back to the power data and I'll show you roughly how these things are composed. So we have an entity class. Everything is made up of classes. And this will give you different data depending on what class you choose. We have the graphics, so you can decide what kind of graphics you want. We have different shaders that you can add. All this kind of stuff I will add on, you know, some kind of information on the forums or something, so you can see exactly what you can add and what they do. Now, most things are made up of component nodes. So, for instance, this one has a power source node, or a power source component, which says it provides power. So this ensures that it can actually provide power. With it being a generator, obviously we want it to provide power. It also consumes fuel, so it has a consumes fuel component node. We have a fuel type here. So this fuel type we can actually change. If we go to resource data, so you can actually add your own resources, and then you can actually link that into the power data here. So you can add your own resource, and then you can tell your new objects to use your new resource if you want to. We have switchable, so it means it can be switched on and off. We have glow lamp. So currently we have glow lamps and we have lamps. Glow lamps just flicker, and you can choose whichever one you want. The idea is that in the future we add more, and also I try and allow players to add their own components, which means you can actually add whatever you want eventually. And then we have an audio component. So this means that it obviously has some kind of audio when it starts up. So when you want to add your own, you would just link the path into wherever yours is stored in your mod folder. So we have pretty much any data that's loaded up in the game can be changed here. So you can change the apparel, you can change the pawn jobs, for instance. So you can add new pawn jobs if you want to. New pawn skills, you can add new skills if you want to. And yeah, so you can change whatever you like. These different buildables, depending on the actual data file, will dictate what buttons are used in games. So you can add your whole new button, a whole new button for yourself, name whatever you like, and add whatever you like in there. Let's just take a quick look at the scenarios. So if you want to create a new scenario, you'll just add them here in the scenarios folder, and then name it so it's different to the others, and then you can change whatever you like in this file. So this scenario story here is that story we've seen at the beginning of the game. And I think that's about it. If you're interested in this game, or you want to support me, again, remember to check out our Discord, check out the forums, check out our itch.io. I have our own website where I post some written devlogs on there. I have done over the past year, so you can check them out too. I'll post all these links down below in the description. And thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.